Episode 49 of AI GTM Talks. My name is Mani Iyer. Super excited to have our guest speaker for today, Pinkesh Shah of Delight Loop. Pinkesh, how are you?
Fantastic. Good to be here, Money. And I like that I'm only one shy away from your Golden Jubilee AI GTM talk.
Yeah. No, no. Thanks for bringing that up. I mean, so it's been interesting. We have 48 episodes. This is episode 49 in, and we kicked this off nearly a year ago. And what we've been bringing on is either AI GTM tech CEOs like yourself who are diving in deep into different areas within the AI for go-to-market. We've also been bringing on revenue leaders, growth leaders, very seasoned, who are again, doing transformation using AI tech tools, apps within their companies. Also, subject matter experts and practitioners in different areas. So it's been great. Every 45 minutes we spend ends up being, I call it appointment learning for me as the one having an interaction with one of our amazing guests, and then hopefully the audience also finds it useful. And I know the topic for today, Pinkesh, is super exciting. And I'm going to put up the next slide here as we talk about this. Is human? Yeah, we're calling it human connections in the age of AI. Um, you are very unique in that sense. I mean, a lot of the discussion so far has been how AI can, accelerate and automate. And this is not about automation, not for today. It's not about us, meaning what we do with our signal-based pipeline growth and signals and all that. I guess this is a whole different topic. So, why does human connection matter in the age of AI? Pinkesh, if you can kick us off with that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think, for years that I've been in the marketing space and quite frankly, as a product guy, having built very large scale enterprise systems in cybersecurity, one thing had become very clear that at the end
Yeah.
of the day, it's the buying journey that is led by humans and that culminates into some other humans buying them, right? And so in that process of the buying journey, the human touch has been always been the secret sauce or the enabler. And I think AI, for some reason, has probably miscategorized in this process of automation that somehow we're going to remove the human from the chain and do
Mhm.
everything very automagically. And I think that's a misinterpretation. We want to use AI to build better human connections, to build human
Right.
connections at scale. But to say that we're going to replace that human touch in the buying process, I think is a very wrong notion and one that we're trying to solve with what we're building at Delight Loop. So we strongly believe that human connections are very important. The buying process is still the same. It's that you can
Yeah.
accelerate and do this at scale with AI.
Yeah. So, look, I mean, I think as we kick it off, why don't we start here? Because I'm sure the folks will want to know about, a little bit about Delight Loop. So, what do you all do? Who are you trying to serve? Maybe if you can start with that. And I know very quickly we're going to get to a demo. I've seen a demo of what you've got out in the market. It's really really nifty, cool stuff. But before we go there, yeah, can you if
happy
you can set
happy
some
to show
context?
that happy to show that
Yeah.
and do a glimpse as well and walk through more nuances. But I think at the crux of it, Money, what we're trying to solve is only one problem. How do we create predictable pipeline?
Hmm.
Especially for B2B, I think a lot of that effort has been still over times across tools that we've deployed. As practitioner, you've done this, I've done this for the last 10, 20 years, especially a lot of mid-size and businesses. There's no shortage of marketing tools, GTM tools. Many of them are AI powered, AI first, AI native labeled, and at the end of the day, it comes down to two things, right? Getting attention from the right buyer at the right time. And so
Hmm.
uh, if attention is the new currency, then experiential marketing, I think, in my opinion, is the new economy. That we need to now build systems and enable our brands to be able to do this cost effectively and at scale. So that's kind of the problem we're trying to solve. which is how do
Yeah.
we create a predictable pipeline through a set of out-of-the-box motions. The primary persona for us has been demand gen, right? The use case, the most popular use case there is, hey, how do I get more meetings booked for my sales, my BDRs, my account executives? Our
Yeah.
event marketing and event and field marketing folks, which is essentially how do I boost registrations? I got an amazing event,
Mm.
and I've spent a lot of money in those physical and virtual events. How do I now get enough people, relevant people, high intent signals driven people to kind of come, stop by the booth and have a meaningful conversation, right? And so, how do we boost registrations? And in the
Mhm.
middle of the funnel, how do we activate cold pipeline? So, sales obviously is a very important stakeholder for us where we help them through physical nudges
Yeah.
activate kind of cold pipeline or stale pipeline. And then the last and the end of the funnel is the whole expansion team, the customer success, the renewal teams. How do we help them reduce churn? How do we then expand and give them a better ABX motion for cross sell and upsell? So that's kind of the range of use case and personas who we serve. But it comes down to one thing: how do we accelerate pipeline? How do we build pipeline? At scale with human connection, with experiential marketing in the center. So that's kind of in a nutshell what we focus on, Money.
Yeah, no, makes sense. So the value is, as you said, more pipeline to faster conversion to pipeline of prospects. Are you seeing any? Is it and I would imagine these are people that are valuable to the customer, to your client, and so they are really trying to find some way to get their attention. Maybe the traditional tactics not working, email and LinkedIn and
Yeah,
dialing and calling and yeah,
digital outreach has its own value. The reason
yeah,
it's cost effective, you can scale, and in today's world, send out thousands of emails,
yeah.
in a week, and that's exactly the problem on the reverse side, Money, right?
Mm-hmm.
The less than 1% open rate, with a lot of that, hyper personalized email, not just substituting first name and last name, but actually contextually writing an email, constructing with a lot of
Yeah.
our LMMs and a lot of tools that help you do that. Even with that, less than
Mm.
1% open rate. And so LinkedIn, no different, right? And so I think digital outreach has its place. And I'm not
Mm.
saying that it's not important to leverage them, but it's not enough. So you
Got
want to
it.
augment the digital outreach with a kind of physical outreach, because when a box shows up with
Yeah.
a hyper personalized handwritten card contextually with a website created just for that recipient,
Yeah.
that creates moment of delight. And I think
Got
that
it.
moment of delight is the attention that, in my opinion, converts in the fastest way to pipeline.
Got it. So next thing I wanted us to do, Pinkesh, is because the idea of direct mailers and getting in front of prospects with that physical touch is not new.
Correct.
But when you gave me a demo and prep for this session, I found something really, really interesting about the way you guys have thought about the problem and how you have done some innovative stuff relative to the traditional players, the traditional SaaS, gifting companies and tools. Everybody, a lot of people talk about Sendoso and some of the others.
Right.
I want us to be able to illustrate what's new, what's different with the way you have thought about the problem, you and your team. So
Yeah.
if you don't mind, let's do like if you can do a demo walkthrough, show us some things we can feel and touch. you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah. Absolutely.
whatever you guys do, okay. Show us some cool stuff before we keep going. Yeah,
Let's skip all the PowerPoint and jump right into the substance, right? So I like that. So let me
yeah,
share my screen and see if it's visible there. Let me know.
yeah, yeah. Go ahead. Yep, we
Fantastic.
can see it.
And so when you log into Delight Loop, you kind of get a bird's eye view of all the different campaigns that you're running. We have specific motions on different types of activations, if you will. So let me kind of illustrate here. When you create a campaign in Delight Loop, you also have these motions, like what are we trying to do? What's the outcome that we're trying to achieve, right? So you mentioned a lot of corporate gifting companies, and I think the problem with that is, and have been a user for many of those for many years myself. It's a great feeling to send someone something, especially expensive, but that conversion of that moment of delight contextually back into an attribution to say, here's how much pipeline we were able to generate, here's the outcome we were able to create. I think that's missing by and large, right? And so we don't even want to call ourselves a gifting platform. We want to call ourselves a nudging platform.
Okay.
While we and a nudge is different than a gift because it doesn't have to be expensive. It can
Mm.
scale, but it's done contextually, hyper personalized with an outcome, and that outcome could be, hey, boost registration. I have a webinar coming up. I need to get 20 more ICP registered for this webinar. Figuring out
Yeah.
who to nudge, when to nudge, and what to nudge with
Yeah.
at a hyper personalized level for each person, so that this person feels special and converts into that call to action. In this case, signing up for the webinar or joining the event. We
Yeah.
have a lot of interesting things for booth giveaways for field marketing teams, right?
Yeah.
Instead of lugging around thousands of t-shirts and random water bottles in that small 10 by 10 booth in Las Vegas, what
Mm.
if we could create an experience where somebody can scan, comes to your booth,
Mm.
have the
Mm.
conversation, you flip up a little special QR code, and let the customer choose what they would like to receive in
Yeah.
their color, in their style. If I don't need another water bottle, there's no point in giving me one because all that goes into landfill.
Yeah.
Instead, let that package kind of show up at my house, and opt in with the choice of the customer. And so each of these motions, whether it's breaking into target accounts for ABX, re-engaging cold leads, each of them will have its own quick out of the box playbook, if you will. So you load up your recipients, and again, a
Mm.
lot of these recipients can be loaded from CRM. It can be loaded
Mm.
from signals based tools like Quanzo. In
Yeah.
fact, let me show you what one of our customers is using. Is you integrate and you kind of bring your own signal, and
Yeah.
and, and say I'm going to create a test signal here. You say here's an intent signal,
Right.
a job change signal, a milestone signal, a certain behavior signal on social. You can
Yeah.
choose the source, right? So in this case, let's say we choose Kwanzaa as the
Yeah.
source, and it could
Hmm.
be any source of signal that the customer has deployed. And now you save and connect. And so at this point, all signals that start coming in can automatically be added to part of that campaign, right? So in this
Right.
case, let's say we have a few signals here. I can choose and say add to this particular campaign, right? And so that's the
Correct.
intent. You want to have a integrated system where instead of dealing with 17 different tools, where the outcome
Hmm.
still remains the same, which is, hey, get attention, get attention with the right set of buyers, decision
Yeah.
makers, contextually, in a much more durable way, right? So this is not renting the attention from Google, Meta, and LinkedIn ads, which by the way cost a fortune, and it's only going to go
Hmm.
higher from here. So it's not renting
Hmm.
that attention temporarily. It's actually creating a meaningful gesture in a relationship, right? So that's kind of very important aspect to what you said. If I now go
Yeah.
to a live campaign, and to the second point of what you kind of said is the experience, right? How
Yeah.
how we add these recipients to the campaign, how many gifts are sent, how many nudges are delivered, more importantly, how many call to actions and feedback. One of the things that we've kind of thought through is this journey. So in this
Hmm.
particular case, let's say here's Shri who's on my campaign, and as part of that confirmation, we've actually created a landing page with a customized
Hmm.
video, on the fly that Shri is going to land into, right? And so this
Got it.
makes it feel special. You're not just sending a
Mm.
gift for the sake of sending the gift. It's a true nudge that has been thought through. And then when the nudge is received, you can now have your own dedicated landing page. And this landing page is something that continuously gets updated. Again, without having a third-party tool, yet another landing page tool, yet another ABX tool. You can have your explainer videos, your assets, you can
Digital
download
outreach is failing below a 2% reply rate.
a research report, whatever is the call to action, right then to go back to your Calendly link and book a meeting, right? Because that's the attention, that's the call to action that we want. So this whole
Mm.
journey is kind of how we want to show and create that on the fly, completely out of the box money, right? Every part of
Mm.
that. customizable, and automatically created by AI motion based on each recipient, the company that they
Yeah.
work for, the role that they're in, and their buying intent and their signal. So that's kind of
Got it.
what we'll automate out of the box, to augment the digital outreach with a
Mm.
physical nudge, that cements the relationship-based, trust-based opportunity
Yeah.
creation.
Got it. So, I mean, as you said, I mean, where we come in with Quanzu is, we are literally at the top of the funnel of helping customers figure out who are in market buyers that they should pursue, right? So we have a variety of signals, the website signals from the website, understanding who's showing buying behavior, offsite signals at a person level across the web, 90,000 media sites,
Yeah,
social signals where on social people are liking, posting, commenting on topics of interest, on and on. And then there's a way then those signals get fed into internal tech and tools to then start rank ordering and prioritizing, saying, these are the ones that are the most interesting to the company to pursue, whether ICP fit, profile fit, on and on. And then you get into the multi-channel outreach step, and that's where you guys are an important component there, right? Because then the sales leader or the marketing leader or the field marketing leader, as you said, is trying to decide who deserves that extra, call it care, love, attention to kind of
correct.
do that physical nudge. So I think, yeah, I know later in the talk we're going to get into maybe give them the overall flow and kind
Yeah.
of give them a feel for that. But before we go there, I wanted to get the folks listening get a deeper understanding of the use cases and where people, what you've seen in terms of where people are using these tactics more, on and on. So for your own product or solution, I think you described the uh, are you finding your customers are what segments of the market are you all going after? Is it SMB, mid-market, enterprise? Who are you pursuing now?
I think midsize and enterprise is where we're seeing a lot of traction. Part of it
Okay.
is also because they have been burned by trying this so-called direct mail. They understand
Mm.
the value of direct mail, but they've been burned by vendors with high subscription costs, and that
Yeah.
does not generate an outcome. It's still an activity. So
Yeah.
instead of me shipping and packing, and there's a lot of operational work to build
Yeah.
a box that is
Mm.
looking, like a custom box for that recipient with a hand.
Yeah.
No, there's a lot of operation stuff involved. There's clearly a lot of work that a brand marketing manager or a growth marketing manager may not want to do themselves. So they outsource it to these vendors. Unfortunately,
Mm.
those vendors have been extremely expensive, let's put it that way,
Yeah. Mm.
without producing the ROI and the outcome. It's more of the act
Mm.
of taking that work away as an offshore outsourced work. What we're trying to, where we become very attractive to a lot of these enterprise customers is because now we're saying we're speaking the language of outcome. It's not about the
Mm.
gift and how many gifts did you deliver, how much
Mm.
pipeline did you generate, and who did you nudge when. So the who, the when, and how of who to send, when to send, and how and what to send. That is the part that we're solving out of the box at
Yeah.
a fraction of the cost, including many plans where we actually have an outcome based plan money. We believe that
Okay.
in 2026, marketing needs to evolve to what we call RAS, results as a
Mm.
service, instead of
Mm.
software as a service, right? And
Got
so
it.
we
Got it.
actually have these plays where you can just rent the play. A play could
Okay.
be get me 20 more people for my upcoming webinar or my
Yeah.
physical event, and that's it. Forget about SaaS and subscription and what tools do I need to buy. Get me to
Yeah.
the outcome. Get me X number of meetings.
Got
We
it.
have one of
Got
the
it.
very popular use case money is the micro events. A lot of
Mm.
micro events, a lot of dinner events are happening, and we have several customers where we've activated through physical nudging and a
Yeah.
combination of signals, like you mentioned earlier, where we now know here's the 5,000 people who are going to come up to the RSA show in cybersecurity,
Mm.
let's say come March, in
Mm.
Moscone Center. Can we now target that list of people and create a highly personalized 15 people dinner event?
Mm.
Uh, you
Mm.
can figure out the logistics of the event and the dinner and the menu, but who should come? How do we continuously kind of nudge people to get the RSVP done? That's the predictable part of the pipeline where you can just license the product for that loop, as we call it. So delight loop is a
Hmm.
series of loops that we can
Yeah.
run in an automated way. And so we believe that that's the future. So we're seeing a lot of traction with larger companies
Yeah.
who who want a better direct mail option, but also a lot
Okay.
of mid-sized companies who are saying, look, I need an outcome to
Hmm.
focus.
Got it. So, in fact, one of my questions was really around the pricing of your service and the packaging and so on. So, sounds like this is an area you are doing you are innovating relative to the current market. Is that fair?
Absolutely. We believe that there is nobody else who's gonna stepping up to an outcome-based,
Okay.
pricing like we do, and we believe that that's the right way. If you're not able to produce value for your
So
campaign,
you're saying it's cost per registration for a virtual webinar of the right per kind of ICP profile fit person, or a cost per meeting in the case of a physical meeting that's going to happen at a live event or a conference that you're with the booth.
Exactly. Think of
Yeah.
this as, while we have a traditional subscription model for people who want to use this on an ongoing basis. So we do have a
Hmm.
subscription model as well. But we encourage people to say, look, before you go lock yourself into this annual contract and pay
Yeah.
high amount of money and just become shelfware, which is exactly what is happening with a lot of people in this space, rent a play. A play
Okay.
or a loop is nothing
Mm.
but an outcome. So in this case, get me 20 more people in the next 30 days for this event. Or
Yeah.
find me a cross sell, upsell opportunity for my existing customers in ABX so that I can
Mm.
have 15 meetings. So that's a loop. You just rent the loop. So the loop
Okay.
runs for as
Yeah.
many times as you need to, for across
Okay.
as many audience and members that you need to the outcome. And so
Okay.
that's kind of what we're saying, that it's more of an outcome-based pricing, in addition to the subscription do-it-yourself
Got it.
type of model. And we believe
I
that a
mean,
lot
in
of
that
companies gravitate.
Got it. And in that sense, you're probably taking on some of the risk then, right? Because is it on your team then to figure out for this audience, these are the kind of nudges that are likely to work, and this is the kind of the value of the gifts that are likely to work, and
There,
you have to put a lot of thought into it, isn't it? I mean, you're taking on the
the
risk.
Absolutely. So the agentic, motions that we've built in the product will do almost 80-90% of that analysis as well. Right?
Okay.
If we've been running your campaigns, let's say for the last quarter, in the last 3-4 campaigns, we now already know the ratios of how much, click rates, acceptance, book meeting, and those ratios. So we can now model it. If you're starting fresh, we would rather say, look, there will be a customer success person assigned to that particular account to help you, figure out and model the first one. So yes, there's a
Mm,
lot of help. We don't want to call ourselves a professional services company. We do have partners who a series of partners who will also help you completely do it from scratch if you don't have your
mm,
teams to do
mhm.
it. But we do have a customer success team that helps you build your first few campaigns. But a lot of that is agentically derived from the product and the platform itself. For
Yeah.
example, I can put your LinkedIn profile money and look at every single post, every single likes, figuring out that, let's say you are about to take a ski trip,
Mm,
or you're about to go to this event. Well, thermal socks makes more sense for you. So the system will go recommend what should
mm.
be the nudge, as opposed to sending another water bottle. I'll
Ah.
give you a live example of one of the campaigns. We actually packed a smart umbrella,
Mm,
and without calling the name, let's say Sarah. Sarah was ecstatic because next week the city that she lives in is going to forecast is rainy. We know this
ah.
because we know, based on the LinkedIn profile, we can figure things out. And so she got something that's not high value. We're not talking a $5,000 Apple, product there. We're talking about a sub $10, nudge. But it was thoughtful because that umbrella is exactly the right thing to do because it's going to rain in her city, next week. And she didn't even know that. And generally, it doesn't
Mm,
rain at this time of the year. So that correlation, going
mm.
back to your point, leveraging AI to
Yeah.
build better human connections is exactly
Okay.
what we feel is the missing need and what we're trying to solve for.
Got it. So compared to the more traditional SaaS players, is there specific areas you guys have actually innovated in this whole nudging gifting space that maybe they haven't been doing as good a job, and you guys have? Is it connecting to outcomes? Is that one area?
That is
The
that is
last
the
the
biggest
last mile connection.
That is the
Got
biggest
it.
thing. At the end of the day,
Yes.
can we create a hyper personalized experience? And that's why we call ourselves not a direct mail platform, not a corporate gifting platform, even though that's what we do, and that's the base. That's table stakes.
Yeah.
Eh, our competition ships out 5,000 gifts a week, and so can we,
Yeah.
right? But the means to an end is different
Mm.
conversation to say then here's the experiential platform where I'm going to create and understand money as a recipient
Yeah.
of my campaign and do this
Right.
at scale by creating 5,000 websites for each
Mm.
money, contextually with money's picture, create a live video with an
Mhm.
invitation from me as a brand for money. Now money
Mm.
feels ecstatic. So
Mhm.
yes, the box, the gift is important, but not as
Mhm.
important as the experience that you wrap
Yeah.
around. Because we believe that in the experiential marketing economy, getting that attention that's durable, and when I say
Yeah.
durable, I mean that is long lasting, right? That
Mhm.
infuses trust, that infuses relationship with that brand. That's the most important missing ingredient in this e-commerce type of gifting that has been happening for a long time, right?
Right.
And
Right.
and
Right.
we do that too.
So.
That's table stakes. We can do that left, right, and center as well. But we feel like the bigger value is the experiential nature that results into an outcome, which is
Mhm.
accelerated pipeline.
Got it. Let's talk next about the kinds of integrations that are most common or typical. So,
I think
I mean, I think maybe this is a good time. I'll put up this visual we have of kind of the call it the entire right 10-layer stack, right, automation stack
yeah, I
that
saw that earlier.
we
Pretty cool.
yeah, we're starting to see more and more customers deploy this kind of a stack of technologies top to bottom. So I think it'd be interesting to see, right, where does gifting, physical nudges and gifting tech kind of fit into this. So it should be coming up now. Let's see. Yeah, Vercel 3. Let me just stop the share for a second, and then put this guy up again. All right. Let me see if it comes up this time. Let me know if you can see it. Oh, there it is. So this is, as you know, Pinkesh, right out the top, is this is our intent signals, buying signal data that we have, website signals, offsite signals, social signals, and then people can literally start honing in, zooming in on their in-market, buyers, feed it into CRM. They can use some enrichment tools, other than us. The people do use this tool called Clay. You can have a database layer where you bring together all the rich signal data of different prospects that are showing in market buying behavior, and then you can do data enrichment, and then go on down and do scoring and qualification to kind of get to the right companies and the right prospects that are showing in market buying behavior that are part of your ideal customer profile and even key accounts and so forth. And then you got to set up your messages and messaging. I think this is where you all come in, right? And so we've added Delight Loop in this step, right? I know, I think you have a nicer logo than this, but this is what looks like, at least this version of Vercel is produced. We certainly take care of that. I know you have a much nicer logo there. But the bottom line is this: physical nudges and gifting fit this layer of the multi-channel outreach. So you can do your triggered emails, you can do your LinkedIn, you can on your website you can certainly have voice calls going back and try to engage the prospect there. But this becomes another very interesting approach that is distinct and stands on its own. Um, so anyway,
Yeah,
back to you, Pinkesh. How do you see what are the typical ways you're finding people are kicking off that physical gifting step of the process? And does this broadly describe where you guys fit in? And
it does.
you know,
It does. Yeah.
yeah,
No, I think
okay,
this is a great way to visualize a system. And I think this has
Yeah.
been the problem that I think a lot of CMOs, especially for mid-size and lower end of the enterprises, are struggling with, right? Because lots of tools, but no system.
Mm,
And I think what's
mm,
important is to kind of build a system. And quite frankly, the smaller companies don't have the resources to go build the system. They may not have the resources, the energy to have a GTM engineer on staff,
mm.
and expensive tools for data orchestration. And so for them, there are two kinds of customers that we see in the journey, right? One, they're essentially saying, look, Delight Loop, can you come and help us build pipeline, either
Mhm.
for cross sell and upsell at the other end of the pipeline, or in the front of the pipeline, in the top of the funnel? Can you help us generate high quality demand, whether it's an event, whether it's a takeout campaign, as a competitive takeout campaign, or whether it's always on evergreen, campaign, based on the ICP. Either way, we are an API first, nudging system, which means we fit into any system that the customer
Yeah.
may already have. So larger customers, more mature customers, they already have their outreach system designed, and
Yeah.
that could be Instantly, and that could be Lemlist, and that could be Prosp for LinkedIn, whatever it is that they have, Clay. We fit in as
Mm.
a physical nudging augmentation to their already existing outreach system. Because when
Yep.
people say multi channel, most people are still talking about digital multi channel. They're not really
Yeah.
talking about digital and an easy integrated version, for the digital channel, where we become an augmentation in their sequence. So they can say,
Right.
hey, send out the email, wait for 3 more days, then do this. If nothing happens, automatically trigger a physical nudge through Delight Loop.
Mm,
So that's kind of one, integration. The second integration is where they ask Delight Loop system to say, can you go run the loop? So here we
mm,
actually forward integrate with Quanzo for signals. We forward
mm.
integrate with the Apollos and the Zoom infos to bring that ICP data. If they don't have it, we integrate with Salesforce and HubSpot to bring in their existing set of kind of leads and contacts from their CRM, and we will digest that, automatically create an audience, correlate then to exactly to your point by signal, using signals driven scoring to then
Yeah.
prioritize and say, here's a set of people that is not only fitting your ICP but are in market right now, and it's better to send your nudging dollars, your physical nudging dollars, with better ROI if we first focus on this cohort one, and then we will do cohort two, and then we will do cohort three. So that's a system that Delight Loop will automatically create for you through third-party integrations, with whatever you have. So both ways is possible, money, and our customers use us for both of those types of maturity and systems.
Right. Right. So obviously, look, I mean, in the whole 10-layer stack we've got, this is the multi-channel outreach right out the gate might be one place that your tech comes in and your nudging step comes in. I was just going to go down a little bit down the same stack and then talk about this, which is in some cases they're not ready to do that yet. They go on and because they want to do the more traditional digital touches first, and then they even have funnel the relevant leads and responses. Somebody responded, they're now in cycle in some way, shape or form, and goes to an SDR, gets handed off to an AE, and now the AE is trying to get that prospect from that first one person in that buying group that's engaged, and now they're trying to get to a stage two opportunity where they have the entire buying group ready to come meet with them. And we know, for example, I know we have a mutual customer, mid-market company, 350 million ARR, 250K plus ACV. They got this buying committee. They're having stage two opportunity conversion. You guys come back into the picture to kind of nudge the rest of the buying committee members to kind of get them to that second meeting. Um, and I know you've come up with some, you're building out some innovative stuff around empowering individual AEs with the ability to decide, make those decisions with some allocated budgets and controls, and to be able to figure out who to nudge and when to nudge and all that. Can you talk to that a little bit? Because I think people should maybe understand what you guys have already built there and what you are building there.
Yeah. I think two things that's worth highlighting across the different types of use cases that we support. The first one I think that you mentioned is important. Whether you've done digital nudge or physical nudge, or ideally a combination of both, at the end of the day, that account executive has limited time to be able to strike and have a conversation. Because at the end of the day, all this is for only one thing, to get attention, right? And that attention has to
Yeah.
convert into some kind of a meeting or interaction or a video or a demo or a clinic session, a one-on-one, right? That's what the outcome is. And so for that outcome, one of the things that we also can now present with precision is the timing. When is this person interacting with your gift? In real time, can I push that back into CRM or through CRM or directly from Delight Loop to the account executive to say, right now is the time when your person, your recipient, in Kansas City is interacting with your gift. And we know this because we have a dedicated landing page or a dedicated website for every recipient. And they're interacting, and we can actually show analytics to say, your video has been seen 3 times for about 2 minutes and 12 seconds right now at this time frame. That is the signal. So when we use the word signal, it's a different kind of signal. It is the
Yeah.
outreach signal, post outreach signal, to say,
Yeah.
when do I want to connect to have the highest chance of making that connection for that account executive. Otherwise, you're randomly just doing spray and pray, and we all know where that lands into, right? So that's kind of the first set of things. The second scenario that you mentioned is also very important, where essentially we come back and say, if this is the outcome that you want, can we back calculate and say, what percentage of your budget should you be spending on digital versus physical? So we actually create a plan, not just help execute the gifting strategy, the nudging, the physical nudging strategy, but we actually kind of give you a very high accurate estimate to say that, okay, if this is the outcome that you want and you only have 11 days to go do this, because that's the time frame that you have between now and when you want that action to happen, here is the recommended sequence of things that we would recommend you do. Whether you use our system for gifting or our system for nudging or not is less of a point. But the point is, here is what we believe is the guidance out of the box. And that is an important thing that we've been working in improving the accuracy. The accuracy is not 100% money. I'll be the first one to confess. I think we're farther away from the days where it's completely human less, if you will. There is still a human in the loop, but that human in the loop should not be doing tactical stuff. Think about it. If you're a webinar owner, you have to go figure out a speaker. Then you go spend time researching, what is the topic that I should have. Then you figure out, who should I be inviting? And then you go sit down with the website team to go create a landing page that's compelling. And then you sit down with a social media team to go create the amplification for that event. That one person is now spending 6 weeks before you're even ready to publish the webinar. We want to shorten that 6 weeks to 2 days. There's still a human in the loop, but can we automate as many aspects of it, including the personalized invitation? That will be a video invitation that will go to each recipient saying, here's why you should join that webinar, to improve that retention, the customer acquisition or the audience acquisition ratios. Those are the kind of things that we're kind of delivering out of the box. And we feel that marketing is moving in that direction where it needs to be hyper personalized. Otherwise, there's too much noise happening everywhere.
Got it. So in the few minutes we have left, can you now, we'll switch gears. I wanted to hear about your own GTM, right? That's one of the things we also like to cover as founders, as people, trying to get attention. You're trying to get attention of your prospects.
That is true.
What are some of the things you have been doing that maybe you're trying to kind of get the message out and trying to do something different, relative to the traditional GTM tactics of younger companies trying to get the attention of these mid-market brands and large enterprise brands?
It is a cliche, but it's a very important one to mention, that at the end of the day, you have to first prove that your own tool works. And so we use our
Yeah.
own product, and that's how we started.
Got it.
Before we even announced to the world that we have a system, we actually ran this system for 6 months ourselves.
Got it.
Everything from sending a $3 caramel coated popcorn with a
Mm.
handwritten note that would go to each of our VP of marketing and head and CMOs to say, here's our explainer video, and our explainer
Yeah.
video is going to be no short of that of a Hollywood movie, and with that movie you will actually need some popcorn, so here's some
Yeah.
popcorn. And so it's a very clever way to kind of say, look, watch our video, and here's some
Mm.
popcorn while you watch what we have to offer. And we're talking about 3 to 4 times more meetings booked, more attention got than any traditional email campaigns that we ran before that. Right?
Okay.
So yes, it is more expensive than shooting out 5,000 emails, which probably cost
Mm.
you a couple $100 versus a couple hundred more dollars to send out these popcorns. But I'm telling you, it is absolutely worth it, because at the end of the day, each account, if it's worth anywhere from $40,000 to $80,000 annual contract value, that $5 popcorn just paid for itself very handsomely.
Mm.
So
Right.
we've used that as a technique. For a lot of our senior curiosity, we ran a very interesting campaign called Color Astrology campaign. And
Mm.
so here's a particular, in fact, I have it right here in my coffee. It becomes a great coffee table book
Yeah.
where this essentially says, based on when you were born, what is your favorite color and what colors should you be surrounded by to have better. Now, whether you believe in astrology or not is not the point. The point is it's curiosity. It creates
Mm.
curiosity, because the first thing people do when you get this book is to kind of look at your own birthday, and you start
Yeah.
looking at, oh my God, that is my color, and here's my prediction on, according to the author, what should happen. And so this became a big hit when we sent it out to a lot of senior decision makers.
Mm.
I think social and founder-led sales at this stage of the company that we're in obviously works very well.
Yeah.
We have several agencies. Surprisingly, a lot of agencies have picked up our platform and have
Mm.
now leveraged that for their end clients. And so we
Got
actually
it.
have an agency license that we very quickly put together as a partner program to say that,
Mm-hmm.
look, you become the customizing, the gifting experience, the nudging experience on behalf of your clients, and we will just give you an unlimited campaign license for
Mm.
you for n number of customers. And so we actually had to quickly build the context switch where the agency can go switch from one company or one workspace to another
Yeah.
seamlessly. And so this becomes a multi-workspace, multi-tenant, multi-client, offering. So those are the channels that have worked for us. I don't think we will do a whole lot of publishing system and performance marketing yet. We
Mm.
find it very expensive. It's only getting
Yeah.
getting more expensive from here. And
Mm.
quite frankly, it's not about the expense. It's also about the durability of that attention.
Right.
Yes, somebody can click on my ad and it sounds very momentarily that I got some attention. They will forget about
Mm.
me next day. But that
Got
coffee
it.
table book that sits on their table with a QR code that's hyper
Mm.
personalized, taking to their own website, that's sitting on their
Yeah.
coffee table for a long time.
Got
And
it.
so we believe that this is a much better ROI as a channel.
Mm. Got it. So, what, as you as a wrap up question, as you look ahead for the next 6, 12, 24 months, how do you see this whole area of experiential marketing, human connection marketing, human connection, relationship building? Anything you want to kind of close with in terms of how you see that
I
evolving
think
as we look
our
ahead?
thesis, our thesis, and time will tell whether we are thinking this the right way or not, and whether it'll be proved or disproved, right? But our thesis,
Yeah.
money, is that passive awareness is not enough. I think you need to
Mm.
turn that passive awareness into active engagement.
Yeah.
And we believe that in the AI first world where everything is now AI driven,
Yeah.
somewhere along that journey and that buying process, we will have to come back and start thinking about the experience of buying. And in that process, in that experience of buying, somewhere we will have to have marketing teams start looking at this not just as a tool. I sent out 5,000 emails. That's not a checkbox level thing. That's not going to make anybody happier. I think what's more important is how do we kind of create a crafted experience for each buyer based on their maturity level, based on their current cycle, and create an AI driven system that
Yeah,
tweaks itself to that particular recipient at an individual person level, at an
got
individual
it.
account level. And I think, to me, account based marketing is going to transform significantly, with that approach. Is my own sense as we move along.
Got it. And as we wrap up, Pinkesh, I just put up, your contact info. I'm just confirming this is how people can get in touch with you: LinkedIn, email.
Absolutely. Absolutely. LinkedIn is
Yeah,
still the absolute best way, but emails are also fine.
got it. So that concludes, folks, episode 49 of AI GTM Talks. We talked about human connections in the age of AI. Thank you, Pinkesh. That was a great session. And bye, everyone. Bye for now.
Always a